They're two-timing all over a galaxy far, far and away for your manly pleasure. Let's see if they have what it takes to milk their way to a climax of approval as we get hard on this review of The Acolyte, Flashback Edition. And as the intro suggests, we're commemorating the Acolyte's Tarantino-inspired style of storytelling, the Kill Beloved franchise technique, where you hopscotch through the plot in order to find a backdoor to get deep inside the audience's favor. And so that means our first category is... nothing to see here. And it looks like we'll be starting off the competition at the end, so let's put our fingers deep inside that narrative to see if they can hit that magic spot. Oh, well this is a bold strategy. I didn't even know this was a real thing, but it looks like the Acolyte is showing their hand before the job even starts by coming in hot with a DEI trump card, which means we're gonna have to start where story should, right at the beginning. Begging the question, are there any hot ladies? And by hot, of course, we mean highly capable and original characters with huge amounts of talent. Whoa, mama, dust off the double McGum as we pop into some hot ladies. Because what's better than one hot poppin' and hair-locked lady but two? Well, many would be ideal, but beggars can't be choosers. So we're gonna have to settle for the identical twin duo, A-Man and Diva. And ooh, talk about a close shave. Looks like the carpet now matches the drapes as all that luscious hair hits the ground. And of course those locks are gonna be worth a lot of money on eBay, which is why the yogic yard sale and gypsy hobos are already working hard to stay in a galaxy far, far and away from getting a real job. And unfortunately, that gypsy life tends to turn out quite the furious fighters, which is why security's having such a hard time. So I guess we're gonna have to let them have their way with all that hair and their grimy little palms. Anyway, here comes A-Man, or is that D-La? I have to say it's hard to tell them apart. I can't imagine what it was like to direct actual twins on set. So I'm just going to take a guess and say it looks like D-La is going toe-to-toe with the Elder of the Holy Trinity. A pill-popping religious non-profit organization looking for the Holy Ghost. And it's clear why she's in charge, because she can fly, kills many through the power of one, and obviously can't be stopped. Oh, well I guess there wasn't room in the budget for too many more minutes of her on screen as she gets shivved out of the top dog spot right off the bat. But because they set the rules early on by playing that DEI trump card at the start of the competition, we have to abide. And as imagined in Article 362, Addendum 4157 of the ESG bylaws, it's impossible to unalive any strong, godlike female characters. So that's going to be their first strike right there, which leads us into our next category. Whoa! Well, it looks like the Acolyte is playing hardball and has dropped a review bomb card, which states that one strong female character plus two strong minority female characters equals many more than the one they shivved off stage. And apparently that turns that strike into their first point on the board. Well, I'm not sure those calculations check out, but let us know how you feel about the Acolyte in the comments as we burst into our next category, explosive loads of action. Alright, it looks like the Acolyte is rubbing all the right parts of the manly brain from the start, somewhere in the middle, and sort of at the climax when it comes to action, which means... well, I guess that means we've seen all we need to see here. Well, it's getting a little frustrating here, but it's clear that the Acolyte is snapping necks, chasing checks, and busting nothing but loads of action. And speaking of loads, let's avoid another stroke from the ESG deck with a quick release into our next category, where, oh where are the rugged dudes? Well, looks like the right-hand man to the Elder of the Holy Trinity is taking the reins with his lifelong search across the galaxy to find any and all virgins in the Force. 72 to be exact, and he'll do anything to be the first in order to show them the ways of the Jedi and keep them far away from the dark side temptation of the stranger.
Oh.
Whoa, 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 guy, this is a family show. But let's just say the left-hand man of the Sith isn't limping around because this stranger is rock hard. And as Soul tries to handle the stranger, they both appear to be pulling all the heavy-weighted loads of the show. And with that kind of man-on-man action, it looks like we're gonna have to give him a point here. But it's still early in the competition, and as always, we play by baseball rules. 3 strikes, and you're out. Oh, hold those horses, it seems like there's some virgins in the Force. Something's coming, and it must be full of midichlorians because it looks like the Force is incredibly strong with this one. So much so that they try to balance it out with Skinny Jean, a young boy struggling with a midichlorian deficiency disorder who in his final days made a wish to become a Jedi. A heartwarming tale, but unfortunately there's too many virgins in the Force, giving them their first strike on the board.
No.
Oh, well I guess I stand corrected, because apparently with the modern audience card, anything the writers want, goes. Which conveniently moves us right along to amply developed characters. And it looks like we're getting quite the calendar of versatility here. But I have to be honest, I'm having a hard time telling who's who. So even though they're amply developed, the confusion with the twins is making it difficult to give them a point here. So let's go ahead and look at the other characters. Uh-oh, it seems like the Acolyte has another rebuttal here. And this time it's the Toxic Fandom card, which states that thou shalt be positive in judgment of others unless they are the others. Well, I'm not sure what that means, but smoke and mirrors aside, I guess that's going to be another point on the board. Well, it's turning out to be quite the unusual competition. It looks like that ESG score is ramping up in favor of the Acolyte. So like and subscribe as we sidestep into our next category, What Obituary, where we look for signs of fisticuffs, death, and dismemberment. Well, this is quite the surprise, but it looks like the Acolyte isn't messing around and instead is going very hard for that obituary point. With the death toll in competition with the power of the two St. Johns, Matrix and Rambo. And with so many unalives, they just seem to have an utter disregard for the younger audience, with such a lust for the power of many bodies and Jesus Christ and the Holy Ghost. No, not the virgins. Phew, thank the God's soul was Johnny on the spot. Let's be sure to keep him around for season 2. Oh, never mind. Well, either way, there's no doubt about it, folks. We're gonna have to give them a point for this one as Amen and D-La go in the back with the stranger. Hey now, we were trying to give them some praise, but it looks like they've used the I don't know what you did, but you did something wrong card. So I guess that's a definitive point here as we make our way back to our final category, Nothing to See Here, where we strap on that homebody anklet to keep tabs on the plot. Well, it seems like we're all in the unknown for the competition today as we attempt to navigate around the Acolyte's ESG House of Cards. So let's go ahead and take a long, hard look at the narrative. Well, I think that about sums it up for the plot, because as the category's name says, there's nothing to see here. And that means the Acolyte, against all the odds, has won the competition with a flawless victory. Wait just a minute, folks. Soul's not dead. He's seen the light and he's found an important clue. They're not virgins. Well, looks like the jig is up because thanks to Saul, we finally solved the mystery to this detective story, which is that they used the power of 2 non-identical twins for the young Mae and Osha, but decided to cut corners and break their own DEI rules by not hiring actual twins for the adult versions, and disappointing the power of many by losing it all with a disqualification from the competition. Well, that's a shame because unfortunately that means the Acolyte is definitely not approved for manly consumption. The cost of having too many rules, it seems. Well, it's a little too late for that now, but the money has to go somewhere. So we're going to take that money and run because that's all we have for today. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed yourself and click your screen for another hard-on review.